Today is August the 3rd. Do we really have to obey all these commands? Let's find out together as we study John chapter 14. In John chapter 14, we're at the very end of Jesus' life. It's his last night on earth with his disciples. And he gives them a very special lesson. Now, this lesson is recorded exclusively in John's gospel. John appears to be the one that it really profoundly impacted. And so he has an extended teaching of Jesus from John 14 to 17. Jesus starts in this chapter by saying, "Don't let your hearts be troubled. You believe in God, believe also in me." And for the next half of this first part of the chapter, John talks about belief, about trust and faith, all synonyms. He says in 14:1, "Believe in me." He goes on to say, you know where I'm going. And Thomas speaks up and says, "We don't know. We have no idea where you're going. How could we know the way?" And Jesus says, "I am the way. I am the truth. I am life itself. No one can come to the Father except through me. If you had really known me, you would know who my Father is." Philip then speaks up and says, "Lord, show us the Father, and we'll be satisfied." And Jesus says, "Come on. Have I been with you so long and you still don't understand? If you've seen me, you've seen the Father." Then Jesus says in verse 10, "Don't you believe that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me?" In verse 11, he says, "Just believe that I'm in the Father and the Father is in me." Or at least believe because of the work that you have seen me do. Then in verse 12, he says, "I tell you the truth. Anyone who believes in me will do the same works I have done, and even greater works, because I'm going to be with the Father." Now in verse 15, he shifts ever so slightly and talks now not about faith, but about love. "If you love me, obey my commandments." Now, this is the only time that Jesus actually says, "Obey my commandments." We get it in other ways quite a bit. We get it in Matthew 28:18, that as we make disciples, we are to teach them everything that Jesus commanded. The implication is so they'll obey it, right? Well, in John 15, he actually says, "If you love me, obey my commandments." And then later on, verse 23, "All who love me will do what I say. My Father will love them and will come, will make our home with each of them. Anyone who doesn't love me will not obey me." So Jesus says, yeah, obey. Now he does it in the context saying, believe and obey. Put your faith in me, trust in me, follow me, and then do what I've told you to do. Do what you have observed me doing. Live like Jesus lived, love like Jesus loved, and go like Jesus went. That's a very simple summary of what Jesus is saying here. Believe in me, obey me. That's the reason we're taking time to look at all of Jesus's commands. some very, very interesting ones are coming up. Please like, follow, and subscribe to this devotional on whatever platform you used to listen to it. Email your questions to us at questions@becomehope.com. Tomorrow, we'll ask the question, what does the Lord's Supper mean?